ITP истребитель тяжелый пушечный heavy gun fighter was a Soviet prototype aircraft developed by Polikarpov Design Bureau starting in 1940 as a proof of concept of a heavy fighter bomber armed with heavy weapons. It was theoretically meant to compete against the legendary IL-2 ground attacker, but in reality it was its own thing, and IL-2 comparisons are just that, comparisons. In 1941, after researching and experimenting with heavy cannon-armed fighters, Polikarpov sent documents to the Ministry of Aviation proposing a heavy fighter meant to fight aircraft, mainly bombers. This thing couldn't really dogfight if it wanted to, as well as be able to attack ground units using only its main armament of heavy cannons, hence the name. First of the two prototypes was ready to fly in 1941, the M1 model, same one as you are currently seeing on the screen. ITP was heavily based on an existing I-200 aircraft series, and you might find this thing looks very similar to some other aircraft in game, and, well, in real life, of course. The aircraft turned out to be very heavy, with a takeoff weight of 3.5 tons, that is more than 900 kilos more than the Yak-3. Powering the aircraft was an M107P V12 engine, making around 1650 horsepower. The aircraft was meant to be armed with the SH-37 cannon, as well as two Schwach 20mm cannons. Although whether or not the prototype flew with the cannons installed or it used ballasts is unknown. The air and ground trials proved a few things. First, the plane was heavy and somewhat difficult to fly. The engine had inadequate cooling, but despite that, this thing was fast, reaching 600 kilometers per hour at 1000 meters. The development of this aircraft continued even after German troops forced the Soviet factories and design bureaus to move to the Ural Mountains. A few modifications have been made to the ITP along the way. ITP M2, the only other of the two prototypes, ditched the 37mm main cannon for one 20mm Schwach, so it had 3 Schwach cannons in total, as well as installed an AM39 engine, which is surprisingly the one this thing has in game, which made 1800 horsepower. The second prototype was significantly faster, had a better climb rate, but lacked the same tank killing potential as M1. Earlier I mentioned the IL-2, how the ITP was compared to it. The main idea behind the ITP, besides shooting down German bombers, was hunting tanks. It was proven that at 300 to 400 meters, at an angle of about 30 degrees, the aircraft could reliably penetrate the armor of a Panzer IV, although this did require a very experienced pilot. The second prototype, the M2, that dished the 37mm cannon, kind of sealed the coffin, per se, of the ITP, since the main gimmick of the aircraft was lost in the process. This fighter was literally named after its cannons. ITP had a surprisingly good visibility out of its cockpit, something a lot of the test pilots noted. Although this visibility came at a cost. The plane was very lightly armored. It was heavy, yes, but it was mainly heavy due to the fuel loads and the cannon armament. The aircraft only had a 12mm metal sheet behind the engine to protect the pilot. It had no frontal armored glass. This was kind of the deal breaker for Ministry of Aviation because a ground attacker was expected to have at least some kind of armored glass, some kind of armor protection, but ITP had pretty much nothing. The end of the ITP program came in 1942. The Soviet Union didn't need a heavy cannon fighter. The IL-2 did things adequately, and removing the 37mm from the ITP kind of made it unnecessary. They had other fighters armed with Schwachs. They were cheaper, lighter, more maneuverable. ITP is my own personal favorite plane in the game, at least in the prop department. In the jets, well, it's another story. It's not agile, it's heavy, it's meant to be a ground attacker, but it's classified as a fighter. The thing sits at 3.7 BR, and well, it doesn't really face up tiers that much, if I'm being honest. It's a good plane all around, with the cannons being its main drawing point. You'll see from the video me one-shotting enemies quite often because, well, one hit from that 37mm and, well, they ain't seeing their family ever again. That's kinda grim. The thing is a premium. It was a reward from a battle pass. God knows what it was. I don't remember. I only remember getting it. Remember when battle pass rewards were good? Like unique and shit, not like whatever the thing that is currently in the battle pass. Well, I'm getting off topic. Basically, you get premium bonuses, talisman, extra RP and SL. Although 280% SL gain isn't that much if I'm being honest. In this game I had a 500% SL booster on and got 7 kills, so that's nice. Well, since I said it's so good, what makes it good? I do not know. The thing is, it's just mediocre at everything. Mediocre speed, it locks up in a dive, so don't try diving because you'll fly right into the ground. It has okay roll, okay pitch, nose authority. The cannons, even though devastating, are kinda mid still. Like, I'd take unpopular opinion, but I'd take 50 cals over them because at least I can spray down an enemy. The thing is not maneuverable. I am surprised how much I outturn enemies, but it's mainly because the enemies are just dumb and I'm a bit of a tryhard myself. This plane, you really just have to capitalize on the mistakes others make because you aren't good. You aren't gonna be the highest one up, so you can't boom and zoom on people because there's always gonna be somebody over you. You can't really go into a dog furball because you don't have the turn rate to stay alive for long enough. You play this thing kind of like a vulture, opportunistic fighter. You just attack enemies that are distracted, you capitalize on the mistakes they make. For example, earlier in the video you saw me killing that Spitfire. The thing could have killed me really easily, but because he turned away too early, I got on his tail, and once a fighter, even if it is a heavy fighter bomber, is on your tail, well, there's zero chances you'll survive, especially if the pilot knows what you're doing. I guess I have to do some kind of summary. Well, I love this thing because it's dumb. I don't think it's for everyone. This plane is difficult to fly, and only if you're a level 100 sweat lord with 6,000 hours like myself can you use it effectively. And I am kidding, of course. I'm pretty bad at the game because I haven't been playing War Thunder that much lately. This thing is a coupon vehicle that you have to buy from the Gaijin market. And God, please don't spend your money on this game. Don't spend your real life money on a virtual plane because you can use that money, you can invest it, do whatever with it, shove it up your ass, but just don't buy a virtual plane. You'll be such a loser. It's funny. Anyways, the ITP, it's a plane with a very interesting history that was plagued with, well, bad design decisions from the start. It was an interesting concept that, well, you kind of see similar planes. For example, the legendary A10 Warthog built around its gun. I guess it was the Second World War equivalent of the A10. Not really, but I have to say something right. Anyways, I really don't have much to say. This is my first video on War Thunder. I just wanted to show off some gameplay and talk about my favorite prop plane. If you have any planes you'd like me to play or review, please do leave a comment. Of course, I don't own all the planes, even though I have like 6,000 hours on this game, but I'll try my best, especially if they're American, Soviet, Swedish, Italian, French, Japanese, so on. Anyways, have this cool closing shot. Goodbye. Thank you for watching.